Real estate practice, fair housing, interactive component. Neighborhood demographics. Question 497. You are an experienced, real estate licensee that meets for the very first time with a young married couple who recently moved from New Jersey to a large metropolitan region in Southern California due to a job transfer for the husband. The couple heard good things about the nearby schools because they planned on having children very soon. The neighborhood was filled with multiple ethnic backgrounds like most of California. Yet, the crime rate in this zip code region was far above the average for the county. The couple knew very little about the area and asked, "Is this a safe neighborhood?" If you were the advising real estate licensee, how would you respond? A. Provide your opinion. B. Suggest they connect with people on social media. C. Encourage them to do their own research. D. Refuse to give them any advice to protect your license. Correct answer is C. Encourage them to do their own research. The best response is, encourage them to do their own research. The licensee should avoid sharing their personal opinions or perspectives about the safety of the neighborhood because it could be claimed that the licensee was biased against the racial makeup of the neighborhood. The licensee could help point the clients in the right direction by offering links to the FBI, local police department, and U.S. Census Bureau for the latest safety and crime data for the region. Real estate practice, fair housing, interactive component. Steering risks. Question 498. You are a Muslim couple who wants to purchase a home in a predominantly Caucasian area. You meet with your agent, John, and tell him you want to look at houses in this area. John says, "You don't want to live there. I have a better area for you that also has a mosque nearby." What do? A. Agree with John and tell him you will view the homes he suggested. B. Give in and view the homes John wants you to see. C. Demand that John shows you homes where you requested. Correct answer is C. Demand that John shows you homes where you requested. John may be guilty of steering, and you should not be forced into a community you are not interested in at the time. Steering is the illegal practice of directing or guiding a prospective home buyer to or away from a neighborhood based on protected class member factors such as their race or religious beliefs. For example, the licensee only shows his Latino clients homes in predominantly Latino neighborhoods. The consequences of steering are potential civil and criminal penalties as well as suspension or revocation of the real estate license by the Department of Real Estate. Real estate practice, fair housing, interactive component. Testing a person in more ways than on. Question 499. You are a 60-year-old Asian office manager who was appointed by the employing broker to hold monthly training sessions to help the licensees study for their state exams. An attractive young blonde woman in her mid-20s is taking an office test in the conference room at her brokerage firm in order to renew her real estate license. The blonde woman studied daily for several hours a day over the previous weeks in order to do her best to score well on the latest test assignment. It turns out that you are not big fan of attractive blonde women who look like your ex-wife. You make a snide and sarcastic passive-aggressive comment on her high score. You did well even though most blondes are dumb, while laughing as you hand the test back to her. Later, you apologized to her for making a bad joke, and asked her out for dinner and drinks to make up for it. Which potential discriminatory and ethics rules did the licensed office manager not violate in this situation? Which potential discriminatory and ethics rules did you not violate in this situation? A. Race. B. Sexual harassment. C. Gender. D. Age. Correct answer is D. Age. Age was the only protected class situation not violated. However, you potentially violated the discriminatory actions related to race, sexual harassment, and gender. As the manager, you made a negative comment about the woman with blonde hair being dumb because of the way she looked. This is a negative and discriminatory comment since you claimed that she is not very intelligent because of her blonde hair and her gender, woman. Finally, it's sexual harassment to then ask her out on a date because you are a person of authority who can recommend to the employing broker to fire her for not accepting the date request. Real estate practice, fair housing, interactive component. Landlord unconsciously favoring a tenant due to their race or gender. Question 500. An older divorced woman in Los Angeles owns one rental unit in a condominium complex near her free and clear home with no mortgage. Because this female landlord lives alone on a fixed monthly income, she fears for her safety and financial security. The landlord is worried about finding tenants who will pay their rent on time, unlike the previous tenant who she had to evict after they stopped paying their rent for more than a year. The landlord struggles to pay the mortgage on her rental unit along with the property taxes, homeowners insurance, and homeowners association (WA) payments each month. In fact, the landlord came very close to defaulting on her mortgage on the rental unit after receiving no rent for a full year. She had to borrow from her pension funds in order to keep making the mortgage, property tax, insurance, and WA payments. The landlord placed an ad in a local newspaper about the rental unit becoming available. There were just 2 responses, which included an unmarried engineer who was born in Tokyo, Japan 20 years earlier, and a young African-American family who were in the process of moving from Michigan to Los Angeles to be closer to other family members. The landlord asked both tenant applicants to fill out a detailed financial application and submit a recent copy of their credit report with all 3 credit bureaus reporting. She also asked for a cover letter and a photo of themselves and any other family members who may be living with them in the unit. The engineer had a very solid 780 mid-FICO credit score, a perfect tenant payment history, and earned over $100,000 per year. He also met with the landlord in person to walk through the unit and was quite charming and witty in person. The applicants from Michigan, however, could not see the condominium unit in person because they did not have time to fly out to see the unit in person, partly since they were busy packing. Yet, they loved the appearance of the unit as well as the prime location near their other family members, so they were willing to lease the unit without seeing it. The African-American couple also had a very high 800 mid-FICO credit score, a solid tenant payment history, and the 2 working parents earned over $125,000 per year. The Michigan couple mailed in their completed lease application along with their cover letter and a photo of the beautiful couple with a small young daughter as requested. The landlord later decided on the engineer from Japan primarily because there was only 1 person applying to live in her rental unit as compared to the 3 family members from Michigan. The family from Michigan was so upset that they lost out to another tenant applicant partly after learning that they had higher credit scores and income. Did the landlord do anything wrong in this situation? A. No. B. Yes, she favored an unmarried applicant over a young family. C. Yes, she asked for a photo of the African-American tenant applicants from Michigan. D. No, the landlord had 2 qualified tenant applicants and chose the one which might be the easiest to work with as a tenant. A. No. B. Yes, she favored an unmarried applicant over a young family. C. Yes, she asked for a photo of the African-American tenant applicants from Michigan. D. No, the landlord had 2 qualified tenant applicants and chose the one which might be the easiest to work with as a tenant. There are 2 possible implicit or explicit bias risks here for the landlord. First, she chose an unmarried male over a young family, which violates familial status protections, a protected class from the Fair Housing Amendments Act of 1988. Second, a photo request and a letter could bring out discrimination claims because the landlord could clearly see that the prospects from Michigan were of African American descent even though she never met them in person. Second, a photo request and a letter could bring out discrimination claims because the landlord could clearly see that the prospects from Michigan were of African American descent even though she never met them in person. Real estate practice, fair housing, interactive component. Advertising risks. Question 501. One of the easiest ways for the California Department of Real Estate, the Civil Rights Department, or HUD, Department of Housing and Urban Development, to make a claim of anti-discrimination against a real estate licensee is after reviewing the licensee's own advertisement copy. You are a real estate agent helping to create an advertisement for your client. Which of the following ad samples would be the least likely to be seen as discriminatory by a state or federal agency or by a client prospect or unknown consumer? A. This beautiful new listed home features 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and is just 1 block away from a newly built entertainment complex featuring 20 movie theaters, 7 restaurants, and numerous top-notch retail stores. B. This 2,200 square foot home is available for purchase at an affordable $475,000 price. With the large backyard, it's a wonderful place to raise young children. C. Our new town home listing is just blocks from the First Nation church that holds televised services every Sunday. D. Our latest single-family home listing was recently featured in the regional and well-respected Latino Living magazine. Correct answer is A. This beautiful new listed home features 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and is just 1 block away from a newly built entertainment complex featuring 20 movie theaters, 7 restaurants, and numerous top-notch retail stores. The only ad sample that doesn't violate any potential anti-discrimination laws is the first answer about the listed home for sale near the new entertainment complex. The other answers make references to the protected classes involving familial status, families with young children, religion, First Nation church, and race, color, or heritage. Latino Living magazine. Real estate practice, fair housing, interactive component. Advertising risks. Question 502. Who should review all real estate listing ads before they are published or shared online? A. Property owner. B. Listing agent. C. Employing broker. D. Office manager. Correct answer is all of above. Property owner, listing agent, employing broker, office manager. To be safe, the licensee who writes the ad copy should consider sharing the ad sample with the property owner, employing broker. He or she has the most financial risk, and any advising office manager if they were appointed by the employing broker to assist. This way, the risks of explicit bias and/or implicit bias claims may be reduced.